If you've clicked on this video, then you're probably someone who wants to speak fluent English, but you feel like you make a lot of mistakes when you try to speak. Don't worry, I was like this as well when I was a beginner. I would open my mouth and try to speak, but my grammar was just too weak. It was not good enough. My conversations were just full of mistakes. I felt like others did not understand me at all. I tried a bunch of different methods, but my speaking only improved after I learned and applied the strategies which I'm about to share with you. But first, hey, if you're new here, my name is Asim. I'm a polyglot. On this channel, I help you speak English fluently and confidently while enjoying the process. So let's get started. I have noticed that when it comes to learning English, a lot of English learners have this perfectionist mindset. They think, first I will learn all the grammar rules, first I will learn all of these rules, I will perfect my grammar, and then I will try to have a conversation, and then I will try to speak English. I completely disagree with this approach because it's like saying that first I will read all of the books on the topic of music, and once I've read all of the books and once I've learned all of the rules, then I will start to play piano. No, you should start playing piano from day one. You should just pick up a piano and start playing it. It's okay if you get the keys wrong. It's okay if you press the wrong buttons or whatever. It's okay to make mistakes. Just start from day one. Just start speaking from day one. Just start practicing from day one and you will improve as you go. I believe in progress over perfection. Don't be perfectionist. Don't wait for a perfect time. Instead, start now. Start messy. Start making mistakes as soon as you can so that your conversations improve. Don't delay your conversations until you will learn all of the grammar rules. No, just start now. This approach is way better for you and it will actually reduce your mistakes because you learn by practice. Now let's say you're already trying to speak, you're having conversations, you're trying to practice your English, but the problem is that every time you try to speak, you make a lot of mistakes. Your conversations are just full of mistakes. What do you do in that situation then? I will tell you what I did in those scenarios. I thought of language as a tool. Let me explain what I mean by that because it's a life-changing hack. It will completely eliminate your mistakes. Your conversations will be more fluent once you understand this. When you're in the middle of a conversation, you're practicing your English, you're talking to someone, in that moment, don't think of yourself as an English learner. Don't say, oh, I'm just an English learner who is trying to practice his English. No, no, no. Don't do that. Instead, try to think of yourself as a conversationalist who is trying to convey his message, just like you would in a normal conversation in your native language. When you're talking to your family member, let's say about politics in your native language, in that moment you don't really think about the language, you don't really think about the mistakes you're making, or like you don't consciously think about the language and the words you're trying to say in your native language. But it's weird, like in English we do that. We think of our language a lot, we focus on our mistakes a lot, we focus on like trying to construct sentences using grammar rules and all of these things. Instead, shift your focus to the topic. Just try to talk about the topic. Just try to say whatever comes to your mind. If you get stuck or you make a mistake, that's fine. Move on. Just try to convey your message in an effective way, just like you would in your native language. I am saying this because mistakes are not a big deal. Mistakes are completely fine. Even native speakers make mistakes every now and then. Mistakes make us human. I've probably made mistakes in this video. Nobody cares about that. Nobody actually cares about that. The important thing is the message I'm trying to share with you. And for you, it's the same thing. When you're having conversations in English, people don't focus on your mistakes. They focus on the meaning of what you're trying to say. When your mindset is like this, you will be less nervous, you will be more relaxed, and therefore you will make less mistakes. Another thing that makes us lose focus in conversations is grammar. And that's the reason why you probably get stuck when you try to speak. When I was in school and I would speak English, I would first try to construct sentences in my head using the grammar rules that I knew, and then I would say that sentence out loud. This did two things to me. First, my speaking became very slow because it takes a lot of time to like make a sentence in your mind and then say it in front of someone. It just takes a lot of time. Second, I would make even more mistakes by trying to focus on grammar rules. because it's really difficult to learn and memorize all of the grammar rules and then try to apply them on the sentences on the spot in conversations. It's really difficult. I would get stuck in conversations whenever I would try to speak English all the time because I would get caught up in thinking about grammar. If you learn one thing from this video, let it be this. Don't think about grammar rules when you're speaking. Instead, think about the meaning and the message you're trying to convey and then say that message. If you do this, you're gonna make less mistakes, and even you will get to an English level where you will make no mistakes at all once you stop thinking about grammar rules while speaking. Just try to be natural, just try to say whatever comes to your mind. All of the things I've talked about in this video up until now were completely related to mindset. These were some mindset shifts that you could make to make less mistakes in conversations. But now I'm going to share with you a real strategy. If you use it and apply it on your English learning journey, your English mistakes will be completely eliminated. This is how I learned to speak English fluently without mistakes, and this same strategy is used by hundreds and thousands of other English learners who improved their speaking. Before we discuss the strategy, I want you to understand this. Every English learner goes through different stages of learning English. First, they're a beginner, A1, and then A2, and then they get to intermediate level, B1 and B2, and then they get to advanced level in English, C1 and C2. Every English learner goes through these different stages. When someone is a beginner in English, they make a lot of mistakes when they try to speak. An intermediate makes less mistakes, and advanced English learners make even less mistakes. Now let's say you are either upper beginner or lower intermediate English learner. How do you get to the next level? You get there by making less mistakes, right? When I was a kid, I really wanted to learn calligraphy. I was very fascinated by this art. I would try to write different names of people and verses of the Holy Quran in different styles of the calligraphy. I was really passionate and obsessed about it. I would use like different colors, highlighters, calligraphy styles, fonts, whatever. But my calligraphy did not improve at all, even after years of practice. Why? Because I liked one thing. Feedback. I didn't have anyone who could correct my artworks, who could find mistakes in it. But once I met my calligraphy teacher, I improved really fast. I learned like different styles of calligraphy. I participated in a lot of exhibitions and I won a few competitions as well. The point I'm trying to make here is that no matter how many times you practice your English will not improve until you get feedback from someone. So be open to feedback. Accept feedback when someone gives it to you. Does this mean you should hire an English teacher? Not necessarily. If you do it, that would be great because you will get feedback from someone who is expert in the language, but you can learn and improve your speaking on your own, just like I did, as long as you get feedback from someone. Here is how you can do that. When you're talking to someone and you're practicing your English, right? You're probably going to make mistakes because you're just an English learner. Everybody makes mistakes, right? And another thing is, you probably won't notice your own mistakes, but the person you're talking to will definitely notice your mistakes. Some of the people you're talking to will notice your mistakes and they will correct you, and others will notice your mistakes but they will not say anything to you because they don't want to disturb the flow of the conversation. For the first people, when they give you feedback, when they correct your mistakes, accept the feedback, be open to it. For the other type of people, just before talking to them, tell them, hey, if I make any mistakes, please feel free to correct me, and they will correct you when they notice your mistakes. All of this stuff is great, but how can you apply this to make sure you make less mistakes or no mistakes when you speak? The thing is, nobody ever learned English just by practicing once. This is a harsh truth, but you have to practice English consistently, preferably every single day or at least 3 to 4 times a week, for months and months to see good results. Most people give up and stop learning after a few days or weeks because they don't have a proper plan and a routine that they can follow. Because life gets in the way, you get busier, and then you forget about learning English, right? To make sure that doesn't happen to you, you need a proper English study plan and a routine to follow so that you know exactly what to do every single day. And this is how you will see amazing results. Because the thing is, if you want to speak fluent English, it's not going to happen happen on accident. You need to have a daily plan and a routine to make sure you stick to learning every single day consistently. You can create one for yourself, it's pretty easy to do, but if you want to follow my English learning routine, then watch this video in which I explained it in detail, step by step. Okay, I hope this lesson was helpful. See you in the next one.